Hello, welcome to Why Theology. My name is Jekris, and I thank you so much for watching my video. So today I'm going to talk about why I'm making this channel.
Why theology?
A little background about myself. I grew up in the Philippines. I was there from when I was born to 15 years old. So my formative years was spent in the Philippines. And then we immigrated here to America. And I grew up in a Christian household. My parents, my dad and my mom, they love Jesus and they raised us to love him too. So I'm really thankful for them for teaching me the ways of God. But yeah, so that's how I grew up. I'm so thankful for that. And then when I was 15, when we moved here, that's when I started getting interested in music, specifically drumming. As you can see behind me, my drum set. I'm a drummer. I love it. So because of that, when I started learning it, I started joining worship teams where whatever church we'd go to, whatever church we'd move to. I would always try to join the worship team because that's how I wanted to express myself. I love playing drums. I love praying with a band, and I just love worshiping God. So I just do that, and I've been doing that my whole life. But as I grew in my walk with God, as I learned more, as I did more studies, and as my knowledge grew in God and Jesus and the Bible and theology, I started having these thoughts whenever I would hear like a pastor teach or preach, or whenever I would read something, or whenever I would watch a video, people talking about God, things that would come to mind that would be like, man, if they had said it this way, it would have been better. It would have been more clear for people to understand. So things that would help people have more understanding and clarity of whatever subject I'm listening to. So I would start having those things come into my mind, and I feel like those thoughts are from God. And then I would start having these desire and hunger to share those things, to maybe teach those things to people. But as I said, I've always been pigeonholed to be the musician, to be the drummer of a church. So every ministry that I join in, it will be related to music, to drumming. And also, I was also doing like evangelism and preaching the gospel. So those two things were my thing that I love to do whenever I joined. But this thing of like maybe sharing and teaching, it hasn't been anything that I've been doing a lot, like very, very, very rarely. I just didn't have a lot of opportunities growing up because I'm always doing those things. So about 3 years ago, I had one of those thoughts again. And I was thinking about hell for, really intense. I was thinking a lot about it. I'm like, all these things that come into my mind, like maybe, some things that I feel like would be helpful if I just shared it, that would help understand more about what this hell is. And then one thing that, a habit that I encourage everyone to form is to write things, those thoughts. So like I said, I would have those thoughts for a very long time, but I never wrote anything down. So I would forget it. I would commute to work. I would have like a 40-minute commute to work, and I would just boom, I'm listening to a sermon or a debate, and I'm like, something pops into my mind, and it's like thinking about it. But by the time I get to work, I'm like, I forget it. It's like, oh man, where is it? And I never write down things. I would always take notes in my mind, thinking that I would tell myself, remember this, remember this, remember this. But it's not reliable. Your memory is not reliable. You got to write it down. But yeah, so 3 years ago, I had those thoughts, like, those things again. And God was like, hey, you should write it down. And I was like, you know what? I should write it down. So I went to my laptop and typed it up. So I didn't actually write it down. I just typed it, and I typed it up. It's like, yeah, this is great. And then I had another thought come into my mind, and it's like, hey, maybe you should make a video about this and post it on YouTube. And I'm like, you know what? That's a good idea. Maybe you should make a channel It's like, wow, okay, yeah, maybe. But during that time, there's a lot of things. First, I was busy. Had a full-time job. I have family, a full-time job. So every time that I get home from work, I don't really want to do anything else but hang out with my wife and my family. I didn't want to do anything extra. And I know what doing a video means. It requires time. And also a major thing too, whenever I had those thoughts, I keep having those thoughts, is another voice would come into my mind, which says, why? Why make a channel? Isn't there like hundreds and thousands of Christian YouTube channels already online and they're way better than you? What do you offer that they're not already doing? And so I'm like, yeah, you have a point. Like, what can I offer? And I watch a lot of Christian YouTube videos, YouTubers, and they do so good, like Gavin Ortland, Ruslan, or Remnant Radio, Trinity Radio, all those guys. They're so good, and they're a lot more educated than I am in those areas, and they're a lot smarter, and they talk better, and all these things that kind of discourage me into pursuing that call of like, hey, you should maybe share some of these things. So I'm like, I don't really know what to offer. So that was 3 years ago, and 3 years went by, which is this year. God helped me. Basically, he freed up a lot of my time, all my time. He freed it up. And then at that moment, like, what am I going to do with my time? And what am I going to do? And that thing came over again and it says, what about the channel? What about the things? The channel, what about that? And I'm like, what excuse do I have? I actually have the time now. What excuse do I have? So I'm like, I need to obey your voice. I need to obey you, God. So that's what I did. So I went back to my computer and tried to find, the thing that I wrote, 3 years ago. And good thing that, it's there that I found it. And I was reading it. I'm like, maybe it's a good foundation to make something out of it. And really, the main thing is like, I still cannot answer what I can offer. What can I offer you guys that other people cannot offer? I can't answer that for you, but I'm doing it out of obedience. I'm doing this out of obedience to what I feel like God is calling me to do. And if God has called me to do this, then he has a purpose. And if I could just reach just one person, and make them just fall in love with God more, make them just think about a topic about God, about theology, and make them understand it even better and make it more clear to them, then just one person, I just feel like I would have done the purpose that I'm in. That's my purpose in making this video, is to make Jesus famous, to glorify his name, to glorify him and share who God is, to encourage the church, to maybe give some understanding and clarity on topics that might be, people don't really talk about a lot, or maybe they don't talk about it in a way that, is broken down in a better way, So I hope, and that's my prayer, is that I would be helpful in that way. And we all have a call. And if you let all those thoughts just occupy your mind, you're never going to do anything. That's the thing. If you wait for you to be perfect, for you to produce something perfect, the most amazing thing that could overtake and wow everyone, it's never going to happen, because you can never produce anything that's perfect. And I have faith that God is going to make something out of it. And I realize that it's not about me. It's not about how good I can make this stuff. It's not about how perfect and how I can, impress people about my video and how I could wow them with my knowledge or whatever, But I just have to do what God has called me to do. And he's going to make something out of this weak vessel. And I want to glorify Jesus with this video. I want people to realize who Jesus is. I'm thankful that you're watching this, and I hope you find my videos encouraging. I don't have a lot right now. I just started, but check in a few weeks that I hope I have more. And I'm thankful that you're watching my video. I hope you have a good day and have a blessed day. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.